Hello, welcome to the audiobook of my Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's fanfic, Crimson Star Priestess. If you are enjoying this series, make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe to my channel for updates. The link to the fanfic and my Discord server are in the description below. I do not own any Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's characters, I only own my original characters. It has been a week since the shadow duel between Estelle and the King of the Netherworld. It was bizarre and worrisome to know how the king had been able to implant a piece of himself into her body and lived inside her as a parasite until he made his grotesque appearance that almost killed her. I still got chills whenever I recalled that moment. My friends and I haven't heard a single word from Estelle since that day. She had more or less isolated herself after the incident, and she didn't even bother to answer our calls or write replies on our messages. The only sentence she wrote to me the day after Halloween, when I asked her if she was okay, was she needed some time to comprehend what happened. I visited the Goodwin mansion once to see her. Instead, I got to meet Goodwin, who told me Estelle needed more time and she wasn't even going to work since this event had shaken her a lot. I decided to give Estelle some space and left the mansion with a slight heavy heart. Candy returned to the police academy a few days after Halloween. Jack was, as Crow liked to call it, stalking Carly to make sure she was okay after remembering her past as a dark signer. Sometimes he didn't come home until the next day, and Crow loved to tease him about it. That, of course, would escalate things with them brawling around in the garage until Zora would break through the twin doors and hit them with her broom to stop making loud noises. Aki, Leo and Luna were going to the Duel Academy, but they often came to visit the garage and spent time with me and my foster brothers, trying to keep things up while Estelle was absent. Today was no exception. As soon as the school day was over, they visited the garage in their casual clothes. "Are there any news from Estelle?" Luna asked. "No, nothing," I shook my head. "Seriously, what's up with her?" Jack scowled as he crossed his arms. "Carly's taking things a whole lot better than her. She still gets nightmares and flashbacks, but she comprehends it nicely." "Yeah, but compared to Carly, Estelle suffered a whole lot more as a kid than the rest of us," Crow retorted irritably. "Not exactly, Crow," Aki spoke up as she looked down with a sad expression. "I can somehow relate myself to her." "Oh yeah, yours and Estelle's pasts are very similar since you've both been bullied and treated like outcasts," Leo nodded. "I remember what Estelle said at the Fortune Cup. It's really hard to be treated like an outcast just because you're different from the norm," Aki explained. "It's like there's a thick wall between the different individual and the norm, and you can't break through no matter how hard you try." "Even so, the strongest surface has its weak spot," I said. "Both of you broke through, but there were consequences afterward." Aki nodded. "I had some trust issues after my duel with Estelle at the hospital, but I got over them quickly because I could tell your feelings were genuine. I guess it's a different case with Estelle." I nodded slowly as I looked at my duel runner. Estelle may be different compared to us with her autism, but who exactly can we call normal? None of us is the same in this world. So why treat someone with slightly more difficulty as if they're less worthy? I spoke from my own experience in the past when Satellite and its citizens were being mistreated by the people of New Domino City. We were constantly bullied and discriminated because we lived in poverty, and soon Satellite became the recycling plant island where the big cities sent their trash and garbage for us to somehow make a living. Then, sector security began dumping marked criminals and made the streets dangerous. That was one of the several reasons Carlin, Jack, Crow and I formed the Enforcers and beat the dual gangs to make Satellite safe again. I clenched my hand into a fist as I grew angry by the thoughts of bullies who used to treat Estelle as if she was a doll they could harass and abuse for their own gratification. And not just her. How many other human beings on the spectrum had to endure bullying and harassment on a daily basis, both as a child and as an adult? How were they able to stay strong and move on with their lives despite carrying such deep wounds in their souls? Estelle was much stronger than I could have imagined. She truly was a fighter that never gave up on herself and managed to move on in her life. However, the consequences have left a scar in her spirit that hasn't healed yet. "What can we do to help Estelle?" Luna asked concernedly. "Yeah, she's the one who always helps us. Now it's our turn to return the favor," Crow said determinedly. "You're right, Crow," I nodded. "We all owe her a lot. Our lives have become better than before, thanks to her." "You got that right, mate," Jack nodded. "She helped me become a better person by treating me as if I were her little brother and scolding me whenever I crossed a line." A tiny grin grew on his lips. "And what's more remarkable, she's not even scared of me." "That's probably 'cause she knows you won't harm her, no matter how angry you get," Crow chuckled. "I used to fear to duel again after I traveled to the spirit world when I was 3 years old, but Estelle was there by my side when I dueled the professor and encouraged me to face the fear instead of running away from it," Luna spoke up. "Yeah, and she was there for me and put herself in danger to protect me when I shadow dueled Divak, like when the Earthbound immortal Kusulu attacked directly," Leo said as he turned to his twin sister. "I feel like I've grown stronger and courageous to protect you, Luna." "Me too, Leo," Luna nodded. "My little nest grew quite a liking to Estelle after she sang them that lullaby the same night Callan showed up again," Crow said. "Even now, whenever I visit Martha's place to see how they're doing, they keep asking about her and when she's going to visit. And thanks to her kindness, I've grown closer to them, especially after the turbo duel with Bolger." "Estelle was my first friend ever," Aki smiled softly before she looked down. "My old self tried pushing her away, but she kept being very persistent until she broke down the walls around me and made me feel loved again. If it wasn't for her, I would have lost the last chance to make up with my family." She wiped off a tear from her eyes. "I've never felt as happy in my life as I do right now. I've got my family and you guys as my friends. My life's expanded a lot, all thanks to Estelle." "We've all grown a lot with Estelle's help, even me," I confessed as I looked up at the ceiling. She may have lied at the beginning of her fake amnesia, but she regained my trust by her honest actions and giving me advice that I've never heard before. She views the world around her in a different perspective. I looked down on my lap as I opened my fist to stare at the palm of my hands. I'll never forget how she embraced me to calm my fears after the first shadow duel with Callan. She told me it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to cry when you go through a trauma. That hug meant so much to me at the time. I'll always cherish it. I have avoided my friends for around a week now, and there was a reason why. My brain had to comprehend what happened prior and after the shadow duel with the King of the Netherworld. The Crimson Dragon had informed me what the resurrected king had told the signers while I was unconscious, before he almost beheaded me. The truth is, I felt embarrassed and ashamed that my friends had to find out about my childhood like this. I was pretty sure they had so many questions next time I would meet them, so I needed time to collect my thoughts before facing them. I could try to avoid the topic forever, but I was done running away from my problems. I may have done that in the past when things got too extreme for me to handle, but even back then I tried to stay strong to face the bullies and harassment. But because of my autism, I needed twice as much time to prepare myself mentally before coming forward with my thoughts, especially in a heavy topic that was very emotional for me. I felt ready to face the signers for the first time in a while and answer their questions and assure them I was okay now, but I needed to tell them my true feelings and the slight trust issue I've been carrying since my childhood. I was at work in Sector Security HQ, so when my work hours were done, I took a cab to the Fountain Plaza. November was getting chilly, so I was dressed in a warm beige top with a brown collar, black bow belt blazer, black flare trousers, black and grey stocking effect tights, white side bow suede 2-inch heels, and a chain pattern neckerchief wrapped around my neck. I was very tall and had a very slim body, so I had a tendency to feel cold and needed to get dressed in layers. After the king cut my hair, I got it trimmed, so now my hair was around the same length as a key's, and my bangs had grown thicker, so they covered my whole forehead. It felt weird to have short hair after I had been living with long hair for several years. I guess you could call it a fresh new start. I paid the cab before it took off. I held a blue-grey barrel bag-like purse in my hand as I headed toward Zora's clock shop. I turned a corner and reached for the twin doors of the garage. I stayed in front of them and took a deep breath to calm down my nerves. It was now or never. I grabbed one of the handles and slowly pushed the door open, only to stop when I heard the signers' voices talking. "Who always helps us? Now it's our turn to return the favor," Crow's voice said determinedly. "You're right, Crow," Yusei's voice answered. "We all owe her a lot. Our lives have become better than before thanks to her." I hid behind the door as I listened at my friend's words that shook me to the core of my heart. I had to turn around and cover my mouth as tears accumulated in my eyes. Did my presence and actions have such an impact on the signers? For the first time in my life, I felt like I was important to somebody else besides my tiny family in my world. No one had ever said such things about me, not even the few so-called friends I had in my childhood who ended up using my kindness by manipulating me. I bit my lower lip to stop myself from sobbing as I wiped the tears that had gathered in my eyes. I took several deep breaths to calm down once again, suddenly feeling more confident than moments ago. I turned around and grabbed the door handle once again and pushed the door open just as Yusei finished his sentence. That hug meant so much to me at the time. I'll always cherish it. "It makes me very happy to hear this, guys," I spoke up. The 6 signers jumped in surprise before they turned their eyes to the twin doors. "Estelle?" they exclaimed simultaneously. I smiled softly and waved my hand. "Long time no see," I greeted. "Hey boy, I almost didn't recognize you with your short hair," Crow grinned sheepishly. "Estelle!" the twins called before they ran up the short stairs and wrapped their arms around my waist, almost throwing me off balance. "You're back!" Leo bounced on his feet happily. "We missed you so much," Luna added as she playfully pushed away Leo with her right hand. "I missed you guys too," I confessed as I patted the twins' heads. "We were really worried about you," Aki spoke up. "You never answered our calls or messages." "Yeah, I'm sorry about that," I replied as the twins released me. I needed time to collect my thoughts and courage to face you guys after what happened on Halloween." "Do you really feel ready to tell us?" Yusei asked with a calm voice. "We don't want you to feel like you need to tell us as soon as possible." I shook my head as I walked down the stairs with the twins behind me. "I'm ready. I don't want to push this aside anymore. I'll answer your questions too if you have any," I said. "Oh, I think we all got several questions for you, all right," Jack snorted before he turned away with his arms crossed. "Still, welcome back." I didn't expect to hear such nice words from Jack. He was always so proud and grumpy, but I guess that was his way of expressing his concern toward his friends. He must definitely be a tsundere. We walked up to the living room/kitchen to settle down and talk through everything. Crow made some coffee and tea for us to drink while I told them some details of my past and answered their questions and the events that made me have trust issues towards other people. "You weren't just being bullied mentally, but those who you thought were your friends turned their backs on you?" Aki asked after the storytelling. I nodded after I sipped my tea while sitting in the corner of the couch with Yusei on my right. That's right, whenever I thought I had found a friend who accepted me, they turned against me and used me for their self-gratification, I explained. Slowly and surely, those friends betrayed and hurt me so much that I started losing faith in children my age. As I grew older, I promised not to bind myself too close to someone again. I didn't want to go through the same pain that I had to deal with as a child. Therefore, I closed the gates around my heart and began viewing the few people I knew as acquaintances, not as friends. To me, friends are those you can rely on if you ever need a helping hand. I clenched my hands into fists in anger at the next set of memories. I've been humiliated so many times and even got harassed by one of my male classmates outside of the female washroom once. "Are you serious?" Crow exclaimed in disbelief. I nodded slowly as I recalled the event. "He was one of the cousins who were in the same group of bullies at school," I said. "He and the cousins, plus 2 of their friends, loved to harass me on a daily basis, and my friend who had autism too. She had a harder time to defend herself, so I always stepped in to act as her shield, but then I became their target and got humiliated time and time again. They even dragged all their kids into their group to intimidate us that if we ever told the teachers about the bullying, they'll beat us up." Were you ever beaten up?" Luna asked worriedly. "Thankfully not, but I did get a spitball," I replied. "Gross!" the twins exclaimed simultaneously as they both grimaced at the image. "I was in shock," I continued slowly. "The spitball came out of nowhere and I haven't even been bullied yet on that day." The words stood still for a few seconds before I switched into cry waterfall mode. I felt so dirty and degraded. The bullies laughed at me as I ran to a corner where I could sit and cry. My brain was overworking, so I didn't even go to wash my face. A few nice girls from my class found me and helped me wash my face as I begged one of them to tell the teachers to call my mom so she could bring me home. I told her who bullied me, but the teachers never really punished the bullies. One of the reasons is 2 of their cousins' dads were teacher and principal of that school. "That explains why they always got away with the bullying," Akim mumbled. "What about that friend you kept protecting?" Crow asked. "Did she ever help you?" I took a deep breath and massaged my forehead. "Honestly, I don't remember," I confessed. "I think she thanked me for protecting her, but she never really stepped up on her own. She has always been the type who runs away from the problems instead of facing them. "What a friend! Leaving you alone when you needed her!" Jack growled as I saw how a crack formed on the handle of the coffee cup he held. "But what's even more disgraceful is how that boy got away with his doing without getting punished. If I ever see him, I'll teach him a lesson about respecting the female gender." "I don't think you can do that, Jack," Yusei said as he placed a hand on my right shoulder. "This happened in Estelle's dimension, and it happened many years ago, so she might not remember the name of that boy. Right?" "Right," I nodded before I exhaled a soft sigh. "And I guess the rest is history. It was only a few years after high school I began socializing again with dual monsters in my hometown's game center." It was quiet for a brief moment until Leo spoke up. "So, you've never had a friend while you were homeschooled?" he asked. "No one," I shook my head. "There was a time I got these slightly dark thoughts that I was worthless and didn't matter for other people besides my family. No one ever appreciated what I had done for them, whether it was defending their honor, acting as their shield, giving up my favorite toys for them, and more. They just took advantage of my kindness because I was very naive as a child." "How did you learn to live with this pain?" Aki questioned. "I half lived in a fantasy world where I felt safe and no one judged me, like the traditional imaginary friend, but I had to get out of it as I got older, or else I would have stayed in my little safe zone forever," I explained. "That's a dangerous phase for a child with autism. If you don't teach them how to live and act in the real world, they could end up getting stuck in a world that doesn't exist, and they'll become completely mental. I've seen a few cases in real life, so I'm very grateful my mother helped me get out of my own fantasy. It was actually thanks to our talking sessions and my hurtful past that I got inspired to try and help children with autism somehow. So in the end, I gained a lot in my past that became good experience in the future." "The bad experience in the past will become good experience in the future. Isn't that what you said to Aki at the fortune cup?" Luna asked. "That's correct," I nodded. "We all have negative experience in the past, but we need to turn that into something positive and share the knowledge with those who are in the similar situation and help them. It might seem like it's not working at first, but I'm sure the suffering ones will appreciate the wisdom later on." All of a sudden, Aki stood up from an armchair at the right head of the table. She walked past Leo, Jack and Crow to the other side of the coffee table. Next thing I knew, Aki wrapped her arms gently around me, holding me very close as if I was going to vanish any second. "Aki?" I mumbled softly in her hair. "Thank you for sharing your pain with us, Estelle." Aki spoke softly as her chin rested on my left shoulder. "You've suffered a lot in your childhood, but you did your best to stay strong and keep living. The past left some scars behind and you grew to have trust issues, but I trust you, so I want you to trust me in return." Her arms tightened a bit around me, but not too much to make me feel uncomfortable. "You helped me become the new and better Aki. Now I want to help you get past the remaining obstacles and heal the scars in your soul." I couldn't help but feel tears in my eyes as I did my best to hold them back. I couldn't remember when was the last time I was on the receiving end, especially with hugs. I was always the one who gave warm hugs to others, but I had never received one from a friend in the past. A tiny tear ran down my cheek as I wrapped my arms around Aki. "Thank you. This means so much to me." I heard a soft chuckle from Aki before she let go of me so I could wipe off the tears with a handkerchief I had in my purse. "Will you guys be a bit more patient with me until I can trust you 100%? "Of course, Estelle," Yusei said with a small smile. Take your time to build up the trust toward us. We'll wait. I smiled softly as I felt my cheeks burn a bit by a blush. Thank you. Not to be selfish, but can we talk about something else now? Leo whined. My head hurts so much by everything you told us right now. Well, this was a heavy topic and lots of psychology too, Jack nodded. Yeah, this conversation has been a bit depressing, Crow agreed, but very educational. I'm glad you shared this with us, Estelle. Me too, I nodded slightly. I feel like the trust points in me has grown from 65 to 70%. Were you using charts to calculate the trust? Crow questioned. I've always used a chart to tell my parents about my mood and patience, I explained. Like how fresh my mind is to talk about heavy topics, how tired I am, or how I feel like overall. This is my method, like how some people with autism, mainly children, use cards with different emojis to communicate and tell others how they are feeling if they can't communicate verbally. That's clever, Luna said. I'm getting curious to learn more about autism. Me too, Aki nodded. I think I'm going to research it. Can I ask you for some help from time to time, Estelle? Of course, I nodded as I felt a small pride grow within me. I'm always happy to share my knowledge and experience. Now I've got a question, Jack spoke up. You've been taking Turbo classes, right? That's right, I nodded with a small grin. And you might soon consider me an official Turbo duelist. It was quiet for a brief moment before Leo broke it. No way! You're gonna have your Turbo Duel exam? He exclaimed in disbelief. Correct, I nodded. It's going to be on Tuesday. That's in 4 days, Yusei quickly calculated. What time would it be? My exam starts by 12:15 p.m., I replied. They want me to be there by 12 p.m. just in case the exam before mine ends early. That's when we'll have our lunch break, Luna mumbled. Can we come and watch? Aki asked. If you want to, I replied. Of course we want to! Leo jumped up from his collapsible chair. I wanna watch and learn lots about turbo duels until I get to ride a duel runner myself. Yeah, last time you did ride one, you fell off the runner, Luna giggled. I managed to stay on it for 10 seconds, Leo retorted. Well, it sounds like we might get another member in our team for the Grand Prix, Crow grinned. Who knows? I giggled before I held back a gasp in realization. I almost forgot! I opened my purse and grabbed 6 envelopes. I got something for you guys. I gave the envelopes to each one of the signers. What's this? Yusei asked as he checked his letter. The letters were white, but had a thin line of golden around the edges and had the emblem of Sector Security at the top right. The emblem looked the same as in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V. These are invitation letters to Goodwin's 50th birthday party, I explained. He asked me to deliver them to you guys in person. Hard to imagine Goodwin is only 50 years old, Jack snorted. But I never say no to an invitation for a fancy party. Yeah, 'cause you're the former king of games who once lived in luxury, Crow chuckled. The details of the location and other stuff are added on the letters, so make sure to read them, I told the signers. You can also bring one companion each to the party if you want to. However, bring the letters with you so you can show them to the guards so they can let you in to the hotel. I remembered a few times my parents hosted parties in our house, Aki said as she opened her invitation letter. I used to peek through the railing on the upper floor and watch the adults dressed in pretty dresses and suits. Mom and Dad never had parties in our home, Luna commented. Yeah, they always had them someplace else, Leo nodded. Is there gonna be lots of yummy food? Of course, Leo, I replied. Yay! That's my kind of party! The male twin cheered. I guess there's going to be lots of people there, Yusei spoke up. Goodwin wanted to make this special, so he's invited every employee of Sector Security and their families to the party, I explained. Are you going to be okay with that? Yusei asked. If I feel like it's too much for me, I can always retire to a quiet hotel room to restore my batteries, I replied. Everyone will have that privilege, so just say the word by the lobby and I'll guide you to a private room. This is going to be huge, Crow said as he read his invitation letter. It will be big, I said as I held back a small smirk, and I've already prepared my birthday present for Goodwin. And what is that? Jack asked. Come to the party and you'll find out.